Anonymous Facebook user says, what do you do if your husband makes you feel unimportant? My suggestion is that you have a real conversation with him. So if you're in a marriage, if you're married to each other and your husband makes you feel unimportant, it could be a whole bunch of different things, right? One, it could be that he doesn't know that he's making you feel unimportant. And there's certain things that he's doing that triggers you feeling unimportant, and he doesn't know that. And so you want to have conversations with him about that so he's aware of what makes you feel unimportant and what makes you feel important. The next thing that I suggest that you do is spend time making yourself feel important, because that is as important as your husband making you feel important. Because if you make yourself feel important and you feel great and you're constantly like looking for ways that you are important, and you're doing things for yourself that make you feel important, and it's really easy to make you feel important, it won't even become as big of a deal for you whether he does or doesn't make you feel important in those certain kinds of situations. There's other things that you can do too, right? Like reframing what he's doing and finding out, like just having conversations with him, right? Like, so for instance, if you have a conversation with him and he does something and it makes you feel unimportant, right? Like, let's say, for instance, that something that you need in order to feel important is for him to take your dish, your plate after you're done eating, and for him to take that from you and to go wash it off, right? And he doesn't do that, and so you feel unimportant. Well, if you have a conversation with him about that, and you're like, yeah, you know what, and he's like, oh, I had no idea, like that didn't even register to me. I think you're incredibly important, and that didn't have any reflection on that, and I'll do that whenever I can think of it and whatever, right? You can reframe that in your mind instead of trying to force him to do it. It's like, well, that might not actually mean that I'm not important, right? If you reframe the fact that taking a dish might have nothing to do with your importance at all, right? And that your importance actually comes from a feeling within yourself, and that he definitively isn't maliciously trying to make you feel unimportant. It can actually be really powerful for you to kind of break those ideas of what makes you feel unimportant. That way you're not feeling unimportant when he does things, and instead you don't get your importance from external sources or your feelings of importance from external sources, and instead you get it from yourself.